I was also pissed off about whenever I was hearing like some guru talking about you gotta do the healing before you can be abundant. No, I can feel abundant right this moment and have $0 in my bank account. It's a choice. It's what energy you're tuning into, what frequency you're tuning into. And this whole thing about, we have to fix ourselves. We are broken. That's not true. No one is broken. It's about just recognizing, okay, there's work to be done. Cool, I'll do that work. The more you do that, that's how you honor yourself. That's how you can also learn to love yourself, to value yourself.
Welcome to the Empress Lioness, a sacred space where the spirit roars and the soul remembers everything. In each episode, we sit with visionaries, founders, creators, and healers. I'm your host, Karen Mitchell. Welcome back to the Empress Lioness podcast, the sanctuary where we remember who we are, we claim our power, and sit all the way down on our inner throne. Today's guest is a whole portal, guys. And I am honored to welcome Miss Kaye Sanders. Miss Kaye is a soul alchemist, transformational guide, and author of The Journey of Becoming the Soul Alchemist. Through her work in Soul Alchemy, shadow integration, light language, and embodied transformation, Kaye helps people move beyond old patterns and step into the most authentic, empowered version of themselves, all rooted in lived experience and real-world transformation. So if you've been feeling that tug that says, I know there's more for me and I'm ready to stop playing small, this conversation is for you. Everyone, welcome Miss Kaye Sanders. Welcome, Kaye.
And thanks for having me, Karen. It's great to be here.
Thank you for joining us. So I want to go back to your story. So take us to the moment where the old life for you died. What was your personal rock bottom that cracked you open to this path of soul alchemy?
Well, it wasn't just one moment. I mean, my journey started in 2016. Actually, even before that, like in 2000, my ex-husband, he was military, brought us here from Germany to Texas. But then 2 months later, he left us. So I was like all by myself with a 2-year-old, trying to figure out like how I'm going to survive here, right? And for years, I mean, I was like deeply asleep. I mean, in Germany, we weren't exposed to any of that spiritual talk, personal development, none of that. I mean, I was so emotionally shut down, emotionally wounded. I mean, I was a mess. And then 2016 is when my awakening happened. And I think my guys, they took me through so many ups and downs and dark of the souls that I had numerous times when I thought that I wasn't going to make it. And I actually just came out of a phase of that, like over the last 4 months, like ever since I released my book, that opened me up so immensely that I honestly didn't think I was going to make it through it. And it was like the book was the lived experiences. So basically, as I was writing the book, that was kind of the curriculum that I was meant to put into words. And then the 4 months after, it was like me really living it, like really living it. Every fiber of my being was going through so much. And it was like, through the things that I have written down in my book, through the things that I have experienced, I learned that there is so much, you have so much power within you that as long as you don't shy away from it. And oftentimes, I mean, before I didn't want to deal with my shadows. I didn't want to look at it, right? But because of the journey that I've been through, I was really guided to look at it, to get into it, to really dive deeper into shadow work, to really feel the discomfort, but not from a victim kind of mentality, but from the point of view of, okay, how can I transcend this? What am I meant to learn from this? Because I truly believe that our outer world is a mirror reflection of what's going on within us, right? So whatever is happening outside, whatever is happening in our life, there's something within us that we created it. And taking responsibility that, hey, I created my life by, the decisions I made, the beliefs that I have, the programming that I have, right?
Yes.
All of that. And then really taking a step back, like, okay, what's really going on? Working through the stuff that's been coming up. And then transcending it, alchemizing that, and then really embodying a higher version of me. So my journey has been intense. There were literally times when I was like, oh, what the heck are you guys doing with me? Why am I experiencing it so deeply, so immensely that, like I said, there were times when I was like, I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I kept going because I mean, I was kind of guided, nudged, right? Like, no, you're not meant to give
Yeah,
up
yeah.
because this is what you're meant to teach. This is what you're meant to then help others embody too. Because yes, there's so many teachings out there, but it's like when you learn it by lived experience, then you can help others in a much deeper, more profound way. And well, that was my journey. That was my purpose. I was meant to learn it. I was meant to live it so I can then teach it, so I can then bring it forward.
Oh, wow. That is an awesome story, Kate. But was there a specific whisper or sign from spirit where you knew I can't go back to who I was?
I mean, I always had a feeling that I was meant for more. I
Yeah.
always did. I didn't really know why or what, but whenever I was like, you know what, I'm just going to get a job. I'm just going to give up. There was like that inner drive, like, no, I cannot do this. And to be honest, I actually just had some massive realizations happening, and I'm like, oh, this is too big. This is too big. But deep down, I knew this feels right. So there's something major happening in my journey, in my life, over the next, by the end of 2026, that I'm like, I know I can't do this. This is not me. I mean, who am I to do this, right? To step into that. But it was like my guides, they never let go. They just kept pushing me because I always had a dream. Like I knew I was meant for more. I knew that I was meant to live a life of greater abundance, of happiness, of joy, of success, of impact, right? And
Yeah.
that's like kind of what was the driving force behind everything. Even in moments where like I can't do this, I can't, right? I mean, thankfully, I had the support. I have a coach that I have been working with for the last 2 years. And even before, I had mentors and guides. And I didn't go this journey by myself. And of course, my son has also been kind of the driving force behind it too, because I want to always create a better
Awesome.
life for him.
Yeah.
Like, I just didn't want my fears and limitations keep me stuck in lack and limitation and fear or having to go back and get a job again. I'm not made for that. That's like imprisonment for me having to have a job, right? So it was just like I said, it wasn't just one moment. I remember there was one time though that kind of set everything kind of in motion. That's kind of coming to mind right now is that was before my spiritual awakening. I used to suffer from depression and anxiety and self-diagnosed PTSD or diagnosed by my coworkers because I used to work in a PTSD treatment facility. And I remember one day I was about to go to work. I took my son to daycare and I was like, you know what? I just got to go home. I was so depressed, so down. And I came home and I laid on the kitchen floor, crying my eyes out. And I'm like, is this really all there is to life? Now, that was before my spiritual path. I'm like, this can't be it. This can't be it.
Yeah.
And I was on the floor, I think for like 10, 15, maybe even 30 minutes, just crying and rolled up like a little ball, right?
We all
And
had those moments.
yeah, I mean, I've had those many times, but I remember that one was like really the determining factor. Like, I
Yeah.
have to change my life. I have to do something different. So I think that's kind of like also when the turning point was happening when I was always like looking into some kind of business opportunities, like kind of business or whatnot. And that led me then, 2015 into coaching. And well, now here I am.
Oh, wow. That's an incredible story
Mhm.
as well, simply because a lot of women, they get that feeling that there's more to life than what's going on. They can't stay on a job. They know they're meant not to be on a job. They should be doing something else. But it's so hard to find your way, like find that niche that says, you know what, I'm going to do this. Because most of us that are called, we don't have a niche. We don't know what we're going to do. But the spirit guide, like you said, they always lead you and guide you
Mhm.
to get to where you need to be. It's just trusting that. How did you get to a point where you're able to trust the guides?
Mhm. Well, here I kind of want to mention something too, because honestly, you will not find your niche right out the gate
Yeah.
because it's through your journey that you will find your way. Like I had started out, what did I started with coaching, then I was doing EFT, then I was doing Akashic Records, I was light language coaching. I mean, then courses. I mean, I did all these, and I actually also have a marketing agency as well on the side as well. So
Okay.
it's like all these things, but it's not just that you didn't find out, okay, this is what I'm here to do. You may get the insight into like the overall umbrella. I knew from the get-go that I'm meant to help people like really become empowered, right? Because that's like also what I have been going through, right? But then how you go about it, how you get there, and the tools that you use, they will change. So it's not like that, oh, you gotta learn Reiki and that's what you're gonna do for the rest of your life, right? That's not it. You may start with Reiki, then you may do, shadow work, you may do this, you may do that. That gives you the tools that you need for then to eventually, when you have grown enough, when you have really done your inner work, to then say, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
This is it. And then even then, things unfold that you're like, where did that come from? I never even thought of that, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but it's like really tuning in whenever you have an idea, because oftentimes we're being given so many different ideas. So we have a choice because, human beings, we have free will, right? And when we're being told, this is what you got to do, you're like, screw you. I'm not doing that. Right? I want to do this because you told me I need to do that, right? So it's about when you get all the ideas or when you have all these things, like, oh, this sounds great. Oh, that interests me too. Okay, write it all down. And then sit down, tune into your heart and tune in. Okay, is this what really resonates with me deeply?
Yeah.
How does it feel in your body? Because when it feels expansive, yes, most likely scary, but there's some truth to it. It feels like it's right. You want to go with that. You also may want to ask, okay, is this a right now or is this a later? And if it's like a no, then usually it feels constricted, or you're like, well, it should be, or it could be, but but you're thinking about that. But the thing that really resonates is about it comes easy. The end, it just feels right. But yes, it most likely will stretch you, right? And then it's just like really just trusting in that. Trust is going to be the key. And that's where a lot of people have a hard time with, especially when it comes to that woo-woo stuff, the intuition, like you're not really trust that. If you're questioning that, tune into your body, feel into it. What does it feel like? Does it feel expansive, scary, but it feels kind of right? Then go for it. If it feels constricted, heavy, it's like, I don't know, you have to think about it, then that's a no.
That's not the one.
And then be okay with trying different things, because every tool that you will learn, every path that you go on, there is something about it that you need. Like I always wondered, why am I supposed to do this whole marketing? I love it. I'm good at it, right? Why am I supposed to do that, right? And it all now came full circle. It made sense because I just received the guidance of something that I'm meant to move into. Like I said, I've never even considered it. I never even thought that this is the path I would move into. But the marketing is a big key for that, right? Everything I've been doing up until this point is part of that, right? So it's really the big thing is just trust. Learn to trust, and then you can always double check or wait. That's like the guidance I'm getting. Like here, wait before you make a decision. Like whenever you're getting something, sit with it. Kind of put it on, try it on. Like you're going to the store trying to buy clothes, right? Try it on. How would it feel when you're actually stepping into that and you're doing this, right? And then, okay, if it feels good, it's going to stretch you just like new shoes. It's kind of going to be uncomfortable at first, but you break it in. That's kind of like how it is. But it's like, try it on, wait, lean into that, feel into it, tune into that, and just allow yourself to just be guided. And basically, like I said, let your feelings guide your decision.
That's a good way to put it, Kaye. I've been trying to figure that out but I know it's a feeling that you get. It's
Not
just
necessarily.
hard to describe that. I mean,
So
for most people that are,
because not everyone has the feeling part, because some people, they just know. It depends what clear you have. Like some people, they just know. Some people, they hear it. And some people, I'm very much in the feeling. So I sorry to interrupt you, but I just want to let you know, because some of the listeners, they may like, well, I don't really feel nothing. May even get a vision, right? So it really depends on figuring out how do you receive the messages, the guidance, and based on that, then you make the decision.
Okay. So I know a lot of women that are listening, Kaye, are high achieving, but secretly exhausted. What were the mistakes you were wearing back then when you had to take it off?
Like the exhaustion, or what do you mean?
Yeah, the exhaustion.
Exhaustion is usually a sign that you're misaligned. Exhaustion is usually a sign that you are not listening. that you are going against the grind, that you are doing something that you're not even meant to be doing. So exhaustion is a sign that something is up, that there's something not really working right. So you really want to tune in, like, okay, why am I so exhausted? Right? Like if you're in a job, and of course, I'm not saying you just quit your job and, start a business, but
Right.
then you can shift your perception around that. Okay, if the job is not what I want, okay, let's use that discomfort as the fuel to find something else. That's kind of like what I was doing all these years. Like, like when I used to be in a job, I hated it. I hated having to get up every morning and be there. And then you don't have nothing to do. You're just sitting around. I was so exhausted. And then I was working in a PTSD treatment facility. So me as an empath, I'm just going to put it out there. You could probably imagine how bad that went because I was feeling so much, developed fibromyalgia and pain and anxiety.
Oh,
It was challenging. But I used that as the fuel to then help me find what I wanted to do. So I knew I wanted to help someone. Okay, so I was looking into coaching and things like that, right? And even recently, right, I was going through a phase of immense exhaustion and burnout. And it was also because I wasn't always listening to my higher guidance. I
yeah.
was trying to spread myself thin over like the marketing agency and the coaching business, but never really merging the two energetically. And it's like really paying attention because, like I mentioned earlier, our outer reality is a mirror reflection of what's going on within us. So if you're exhausted, if you're burned out, if you're tired and unmotivated, use that as a mirror to kind of look within. Okay, what is going on within me? How do I feel about my job, about this thing that makes me tired, or that, the people that I'm around and whatnot? And
Yeah.
use it as a mirror to see, okay, what needs change? Maybe I need to change my perception. Maybe I need to use the discomfort as fuel to help me find something else, whether it's a different job or maybe having these hard conversations with people saying, look, setting boundaries, for example. If you don't really have
Yeah.
boundaries and people walk all over you, that could be something too. So it's using your challenges, using your discomfort in your life as that mirror that shows you what is really going on within you. But in here, it's really making a time and space to really take a step back and become honest with yourself. Like, okay, what is really going on? And then when you have that awareness gives you the power of choice. When you have the awareness, you can do something about it, right?
Right.
So it's really that. It's like listening, paying attention, and working with what comes up.
Wow. But so for the woman probably washing dishes or sitting in her car right now, what does soul alchemy actually mean in your everyday life?
I love that you asked that. Soul alchemy is about kind of what I just mentioned. It's working with what comes up when it comes up. There's so many manifestation practices out there. And I mean, I've done a lot, right?
Yeah.
And there's like always that missing piece. Because yes, it's great when you're visualizing and you're tuning into that version of you who already has what you want. But what if you look at your bank account and your bank account says you have barely any money left, but you have a pile of bills that you have to pay? You tuning into a version of you who's abundant and wealthy, and you're just like, oh, I'm wealthy, I'm so wealthy, oh yeah, but your bank account says no.
No.
How do you deal with that? And that's where soul alchemy comes in play. Soul alchemy is about feeling the feelings, not so pleasant feelings, not bypassing it. Because what do we usually do? We're feeling uncomfortable. Oh, I just gotta push through. I gotta push it
Yes.
aside, right?
Yes.
When you do that, it doesn't go anywhere. It stays within you. It festers. It causes you to feel not okay. So soul alchemy is about realizing, okay, I feel not okay. Okay, what am I feeling? Okay, I feel, let's say, fear, right? Fear around my finances, for example. Okay, let's tune into that. Let's feel that. Not tapping into the story, because the story is what makes it look ugly and makes it more intense or whatnot. And that's when you then kind of go down the rabbit hole, right? That's when you start spiraling. We don't want to spiral. You want to tune into the feeling. Give the feeling space. Give the feeling an outlet. Acknowledge it that, okay, I'm afraid. Okay, let's tune in. Let's feel it. Really turn up the dial on the feeling. Like I said, not the story, but the feeling.
Right.
And then you will notice that all of a sudden you feel lighter. It releases. That's how you alchemize it. That's how you
Oh.
transcend it. Then you're You can also use, like in my book, I teach a clearing statement. I now clear and transmute this across all time, space, reality, lifetimes, and dimensions. Really being intentional about it. Or you can just imagine pushing that energy out of your being, out of your body, transcending into light and love. And then once you've done that, then you embody that version of you who is abundant, who lives a beautiful life, who has tons of money in the bank account. But you can't do that unless you alchemize the
Right.
negative feeling, right? So soul alchemy is about, a soul alchemist is someone that doesn't shy away from the feeling, the shadow work, the deep inner work. But it's about doing it in an empowered way. Because I know a lot of people that are like, I don't want to do shadow work because I don't want to touch all that stuff because that's painful. Why would I go back to, all these horrible feelings, right?
Yes.
But guess what? Just because you don't want to deal with that doesn't mean that stuff doesn't go away. It's still
Right.
there. It's still within your psyche. It's still within your energetic makeup. It's in your being. It's deeply buried in your subconscious mind, right? And it shows up when you least expect it or when you least want it. Whenever you don't want to, then maybe think about, oh, I want to do something. I want to maybe start a business or something like that. And then that little voice tells you that, no, you can't do this. You're not good enough. And who are you to do this, right? Or it's going to be hard, or people are going to judge me. So when you use soul alchemy, when you then pay attention, and here it's not about going on a massive week-long or year-long journey of diving deep within and do healing. It's about moving forward, and as things come up, that's when you work with it. That's how when you heal it, when you release it, when you transcend it, and then you re-embody the version of you who already has what you want. So that's basically what soul alchemy is about. And when we're talking about the women, the moms that are at home, I'm pretty sure they're being triggered left and right with the kids, with all the responsibilities and the
Yeah.
to-dos and the obligations and this and that, and everyone wants a piece of you. You're like, oh my God, I just want to be alone. I just want to do my thing, right? Using all that stuff that comes up. Obligation, for one thing. Obligation, you can also look at obligation from a different perspective where you say, you honor, I really don't want to do this. However, I choose to do this because, well, my kids need it. Let's say your kids need you to take them to, a soccer game or whatnot. You really don't want to do it because you're exhausted. You have a pile of dishes to do or whatnot. Okay, tune in, acknowledge, I really don't want to because I'm really exhausted. However, I choose to do it because I love my children so much, and my children want to go to soccer game.
Yeah.
Then it's a choice. It's no longer something you have to do.
Oh,
So that's what Soul Alchemy is really about, is about working with what comes up. And as you do that, you actually become the conscious creator of your own reality, because then you can choose, okay, am I going to let this derail me, or am I going to work with whatever comes up?
Yeah.
Alchemize the feeling and then choose a different way of being, a more empowered way of being. That's how you alchemize your situations, and that's how you become the conscious creator of your own reality. Because do you want to always feel bugged down and in lack and limitation and overwhelmed? Or do you feel abundant? Do you want to feel abundant, prosperous, happy, joyful?
Yes.
It's a choice. And so alchemy can help you be that.
Wow. And I always thought it was like, I know it was a part of changing, but like if I don't want to go to the soccer game, then I want to say, hey, switch that. I don't want to go to the soccer game. Let's go somewhere else instead. But the way that you described it, I guess that's a way that you're changing it, but you're also changing your mindset around the entire situation, which is very much, that's a lot. It makes
Yeah.
more sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, you can have that feeling like, oh, I have to. So you go to the event and you're the entire time like, oh, I had to be there, right?
Yeah.
You're just pickering, right? Your energy constrict. You're feeling very much not okay.
Yeah.
And well, guess what? That's the energy you're sending out. So guess what you're attracting? Because you attract what you're in a vibrational match to. So if you're in a pickering mood and I don't want this, well, you're going to keep attracting situations that keep you in the energy of obligation, of lack, and all of that. Or, like I said, if you alchemize it, okay, well, I choose to go it, but also not choosing out of obligation, but really making it a choice.
Making it a choice.
Then
a
you
choice
go
that you want to choose.
Exactly.
For
Right?
whatever the reason, yeah. That's
Exactly. Yeah.
makes sense. I totally understand that. What are some signs that a woman is experiencing a spiritual awakening, even if she doesn't have the language for it yet?
Oh boy. Well, in the more intense terms, your life is falling apart. and you have no idea why. You're just here like, what is going on? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
You may then also have usually spiritual awakenings. They come with some kind of adversity. For me, it was always money and health. That was like my two biggest ones were, my bank account just started draining. I had all these expenses. I'm like, well, what? I just had all that money. What is going on, right? You may even then also attract people into your life that trigger the heck out of you. It's just like they're
Yeah.
because they are the mirrors, right? Showing you what you need to work on because spiritual awakening helps you rediscover who you truly are beneath all that stuff, right? Beneath the lack, the beliefs, the stories, the experiences, right? It's really peeling back the layers of an onion. So you may have physical symptoms as well. You can have like fatigue, some kind of illnesses that the doctors, they don't really know why. Like I had stomach problems for 3 months and no doctor knew what was going on. Right. They did not know. So I then, took a lot of, herbal stuff or whatnot. And eventually I felt better. And I did a lot of healing to clear out the stuff as well.
Yeah.
But oftentimes there is loss, whether it's like actual, death loss, like you're
Yes.
losing someone,
Yeah.
or just loss of, let's say a marriage or a friendship. It doesn't necessarily need to be, lost by death, but just losing something. Maybe even feeling like you're losing yourself. You may then also start, having these immense, dreams at night as well. Or, these intense dreams, like out of the world kind of dreams. So it's like whenever there's a lot of intensity going on in your life, whatever area, that usually is somewhat of a sign because spiritual awakenings, they're meant to shake us awake. The way it usually happens is in the beginning, it's like a little tap on the head, like, no, a little tap on the shoulder, like, hey, it's time for you to wake up. You no, right? Totally ignoring that. Well, then the tap gets a little more intense. Then you might
Yeah.
get the smack on the head. Well, if you're still ignoring it, then you just maybe get like the, hitting rock bottom or getting the boulder rolling right over you. And you're like, what just happened?
Your
And
whole
it's
life
usually,
falling apart.
exactly, it's usually in those moments when you're really waking up. Before
Yeah.
that, it's usually those smaller incidents where you're just kind of being nudged. And if you're not paying attention, you're just going to get the boulder.
Listen, Kay, I've had that experience already. So now I pay attention, but it helped me to understand why we go through certain things in life.
Mm.
Because one, we're going through life sleeping most of the time. We're not
Yep.
paying attention. And until you actually start paying attention and understanding what's happening, that's the only way you can move forward.
Yep.
But you talk about remembering our light and embodying our truth. What keeps so many of us disconnected from that light?
It's like in order to get to it, you have to go through the mud. And with some people, it's worse than with others. I know for myself, it has been immensely challenging, immensely hard. Like I said, there were times when I was like, I give up. I'm like, I kind of want to go back to before when I was like, like asleep and I didn't know anything about that because then
Yeah.
I wasn't like feeling so much, right? But then also I know this is what I'm meant to be doing. So not everyone goes through the thickness of the awakening, right? But it's about choosing you all the time. It's
Yeah.
about doing the work. It's about choosing to get to know yourself, not the one the one that you're looking in the mirror every single day, but the one deep beneath the surface, the one that is beneath the surface of the pain, the disappointments, the trauma. And here it's not necessarily just, physical trauma or, abuse, but just like, I mean, there's so much trauma that we experience throughout our life. I mean, just think like, as a little kid, you fall down so many times and hit your knee or hit your
Yeah.
bottom and whatnot, right? These are all traumas. And then as we're getting older, let's say your first heartbreak, right? Or you ask someone out and they say, no, you're ugly, I don't want you, right? That is trauma. Or you get fired from a job, or you get denied for a job, or all of those things, they hurt us. They tell us we're not good enough.
Yeah.
We can't do this, right? And it's all of that overshadows who we truly are. So it's about taking responsibility and not shying away from doing the work. But here I do want to mention some people, yes, they have experienced a lot of trauma. And when it comes to doing our own stuff, it's like we're often too close to our own stuff that, for one, we don't see it, we don't want to see it, or we're actually totally resistant to it.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah.
here it's like, you don't want to open Pandora's box all on your own if you don't know how to deal with what
Right.
comes up. I mean, I had to heal from the trauma that I experienced from my ex-husband, who left me 2 months after we got here and put me through hell. I could not do this on my own. And even now, there are certain things that I'm too close to my own stuff that I go to my mentor, right? I go to my coach, like, hey, help me work through this, right? But it's about not shying away from doing the work. But here I want to mention something, because the personal development industry kind of makes it seem like we're broken. We
Yeah.
need fixing. We need healing. We need to do all that stuff in order to be whole. No, it's not true. It's about recognizing, okay, I have stuff. I have stuff going on. I have fears. I have doubts. Okay. Awareness is power of choice. When you have the awareness, then you can choose to do something about it. So this does not mean that you have to spend years in the healing. Because I was also pissed off about whenever I was hearing like some guru talking about, you got to do the healing before you can be abundant. No, I can feel abundant right this moment and have $0 in my bank account, right? It's a choice. It's what energy you're tuning into, what frequency you're tuning into. And this whole thing about, we have to fix ourselves. We are broken. That's not true. No one is broken. It's about just recognizing, okay, there's work to be done. Cool, I'll do that work. The more you do that, that's how you honor yourself. That's how you can also learn to love yourself, to value yourself. And then as you're really looking deeper and uncovering all these layers with love, with appreciation. Whenever something comes up for me, I'm not like, oh, I don't want to look at it. Okay, cool. What is there? Let's lean into that. Let's work through that. Okay, now I can let you go. Bye. Don't want to see you again. And then you move on, right? So it's really being gentle with yourself in the process and not believing or buying into this whole thing like you're broken, you need fixing or anything like that.
So you call what people call that brokenness into just having to fix something that's on the inside of you or what you see. Because I know a lot of people does categorize it as being broken. What do you call that?
It's
Just
not
fixing?
broken. It's not fixing. It's like, yes, we have pain. We have, past experiences. That doesn't mean we're broken. That just means we have these imprints. Okay, well, we can release that. If I know that I have an imprint around lack, cool, let's work through that. Doesn't mean that I'm broken just because I have, lack imprints or whatnot, right? That doesn't mean that I can't ever become successful just because I have, doubt around my, am I really good enough? So I do not believe that we need fixing. It's just knowing it's the same thing when you start something, right? You're not an expert yet, right? That doesn't mean that you're broken because you don't know the skill yet. You get better the more you do it, right? So here it's not beating yourself up over, oh, I have all that stuff. Because when we're looking at the example of the iceberg, right? You see that tiny little tip on top and that big chunk underneath it. Well, that's all that stuff beneath the surface, the fears, the doubts, the past experience, even past life stuff, ancestral stuff, right? And it's all of those different things. Soul contracts. I mean, there's so much stuff.
Yeah.
So do you want to spend all your life just diving into that? Because then you're going to be stuck. If you're looking at it from that point of view, then you might think, oh, I'm broken. But no, you're not. It's like your soul has had many, 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 many experiences. It's about, okay, uncovering, okay, which of those experiences are holding me back? They're limiting me that I really don't want to deal with anymore. Okay, let's work on that. Let's transcend that. Let's release that. I'm going to take from it what I'm meant to be learning, because there's something that I'm meant to learn. Because every challenge, every setback, every lack, every belief, everything holds a message, a lesson, and a gift. It's about acknowledging, okay, there's something there. It's not about fixing it. It's about, okay, what am I meant to learn from this? What can I take from this? Because we always do the best that we can in the situation we're in. Well, let's say 2 years ago, did certain things based on what you had available to you at that time. Would you do it differently now? Most likely, because you've learned from that, right? So it's about letting go of the guilt, the negative feeling around it, taking with you, okay, you know what? I won't ever do that again. I will do it differently. I think this is so much more empowering than saying, I did that, I'm broken, right? So that's like my belief. I don't believe anyone is broken or needs fixing. It's really just, how can we improve? How can we
Yeah.
become a better version of ourselves? That's what I believe.
Okay. Okay. So that's what you call it. That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about the book you wrote,
Mhm.
Kay.
Yes. This book it's like it's right here. This is like my life's work. It came through to me. It's like 400 pages. It came through to me in 11 days.
Oh, wow.
I got the guide. Yes, I got the guidance, and funny enough, like my entire schedule cleared out. For that entire week, for like 2 weeks, my entire schedule cleared out. I didn't feel like going to the gym. I was just on the computer writing, 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 writing. I even got the guidance to turn it into a German book. And this is really about empowering people to do their own inner work in a way that doesn't make them feel overwhelmed or like they need to fix something or like they're broken or whatnot. It's about coming home to yourself. It's about remembering who you truly are. There are like 4 parts of it in there. Like the first one is really, it kind of talks about the spiritual awakening, that realizing, hey, there's more to life, right? And then the next one is about really the deep healing, the releasing, the transcending, that part. And then it's about embodiment, because a lot of times we're forgetting the most important thing. We're stuck in the healing and clearing cycle. We're forgetting the embodiment part. You
Oh,
have to embody the version of you who already lives the life that you want to live in order to then close the cycle. A lot of healing, it talks about you just got to keep healing and keep clearing, healing and clearing. But then the missing part is you got to embody a new version of you to kind of, override the limited self that you just basically released, right? And then it's
right.
about then really stepping into your power and being, like, it's not about then about doing these daily practices to help you get into the state. You're stepping into the state of being naturally. You become that on a day-to-day basis. So you don't need meditation or journaling or visualization to
Oh,
get into that state. You're living it through this. So that's basically what this book is all about, is kind of guiding, awakening souls to become their own soul alchemists, where they co-create their own reality rather than being derailed by everything.
oh, wow. That's an awesome read. But if you could look every woman listening in the eyes right now and give her one instruction for this season, what would you say?
Let's see what wants to come through. Mm. It's about tuning in. It's about really listening deeply. You already hold all the answers. You
Yeah.
truly, truly do. And here it's not about being in your head and thinking about it, but really dropping into your heart and feeling into it, sensing into it. What do you sense? What do you know? What do you feel? And act from that place. So many of us doubt what we feel, but here and now moving forward, I mean, now we're moving into one universal year in 2026. So this is all about new beginnings, right? So perhaps make the choice that you listen more to yourself, that you make yourself a higher priority. Like I said, if you have obligations, if there's things that you have to do, shift your perception around it,
Yeah.
your how you look at it, but make yourself more of the number one and listen. Feel into it, listen more closely, and choose based on what feels right. Not what you think is right or what someone tells you or what you hear, any gurus talk about, but really feel into it. What resonates? Resonance is really the key here, is everything in your life, look for that. What resonates? What feels in alignment? Anything that doesn't, look at, okay, maybe do I need to just shift my perception around it? Maybe I need to change my energy around, like how I actually step into this. Maybe I just need to really change this and let it go, or use that discomfort as fuel to find something that is more in alignment. But that's really what I would like to invite your women to do, is like really listen more closely and look for that resonance in their life and what they're experiencing.
That is awesome. Quiet the noise
Mhm.
and try to find out what that is. And
Mhm.
with all our day-to-day life, we never seem to do it. But I guess you can take 5, 10 minutes, go in your closet, and you can start practicing that on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Awesome.
In 5 minutes, it can be enough. It doesn't have to be half an hour or an hour or
Yeah.
whatnot. Even just the pause that you take in between the breath can be enough because you're breathing, or like, hey, when you go into the bathroom, right, you have at least a few minutes, like, so like,
Yeah.
okay, let me just take a breather, come home to yourself, come back into your body. Because oftentimes we're so out there because we're so distracted by life. It's about, okay, let's come back. Let's come
Yeah.
back to center.
I like to tell people because a lot of people practice prayer. And I always say prayer is a form of asking God or asking the
Mm.
universe what it is your heart desires and what you need and what you want. But meditation, kind of like quieting the mind, is listening for that answer, listening for the
Mm.
direction. That's how I like to sum it up.
Yeah.
But Kay, I like to ask all of the guests that come on the Empress Lioness a question in regard to the Empress energy. So,
Mhm.
for your question, what song instantly puts you in Empress energy mode?
The song that comes up is Peru. I'm not sure who it's from, but like I always listen to it when I go to a gym. It's like more like a peppy kind of song. So it's Peru. Not
Oh,
sure who it's from.
Peru?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I
Right.
think it's like a reggaeton kind of, music or whatnot. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, that
Oh,
one,
okay.
that's like the one thing that one song that comes to mind whenever I hear that. I just kind of really get into that. Well, I mean, okay, gym mood, I guess. I don't really have a specific song. I mean, for me, it's like more so like I listen to music when I go to the gym.
Yeah.
But actually, it's like my own song, like tuning in. I think that's like really my own song, my own energy. That's like, so it's not an actual song that anyone knows, but it's like really tuning into my own energy and
Yeah.
feeling that and connecting to that. That's what gets me into Empress mode, like you mentioned. Uh,
Awesome.
nothing so much outside. Like I said, that song is more so my gym song.
And an Empress is a woman who does what? Finish that sentence for me. When you say that feeling you get, because I want listeners to understand what I mean when I say Empress energy, how that song makes you feel.
Embodiment, true embodiment. Like
Awesome.
getting to know yourself and choosing yourself over anything else. Because at the end of the day, who's the most important person in your life?
That's right.
It's you.
That's right.
Because if you're not at 100%, if you're sick, if you're hurt, if you can't be there for other people, then no one else matters. You matter most. And then when you are taking care of yourself, then you can take care of other people. You can't take care of other people if you're a mess, if you're exhausted, if you're burned out, if you're not yourself.
Yeah.
So come home to yourself.
So, Kay, tell our listeners how they can find you.
Yeah, my website, kaysanders.com. I'm also on YouTube. So you can just go on YouTube and then put the @ and then Kaye Sanders. You can find my channel. I do a lot of light language activations. My book is also on Amazon. So here's my book again if you want to check it out.
Yes.
But yeah, my website is really the place where you can find everything and YouTube.
Well, Miss Kaye Sanders, thank you so much for bringing your wisdom, your medicine, and your soul fire into this space today. And to every Empress listening, I want you to really sit with what you heard today. Where are you still playing small? Where are you ignoring the whispers of your own soul? You did not come here to live in autopilot. You came here to remember. Remember that you were born from fire, crowned by truth. Your throne is not out there somewhere. It has always been within you. Until next time, take a seat on your throne. I'm your host, Karen Mitchell.